to meet you.
Hi.
You too. Good, thank you.
This is good, isn't it, this show? I'm enjoying it.
Yay.
Oh, thank
you.
Thank you.
Good. Okay, so I loved the twist at the end of episode 1 because I thought the show was going to be one thing, and then of course it just pulls the rug from underneath your feet, and it's something completely different to what I expected. When this was first pitched to you, did you know the kind of eventual premise, or did you have that similar sort of experience reading the first script and having that kind of shock?
I kind of wish I had just read the script, but
I just read the script.
You did?
Yeah,
Oh,
I
that
didn't.
would've been much more
It's great, and I was
satisfying.
completely shocked. Yeah, it's really fun to have. Can I ask? Did you know if did you already know there was gonna be a twist at the end? So you went in cold.
Yeah,
That's
nothing.
the best way.
Yeah.
I know. It's too bad we have to talk about
I know.
it. Too bad we have to advertise it.
Is it quite a hard thing to promote and talk about today? Because obviously so much. I mean, obviously it's however many episodes, but obviously sort of 3/4 of the way for episode 1, everything kind of changes.
It's a challenge.
Challenging. it is challenging because you don't want to ruin it for the audience,
Yeah.
but you also want to entice them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think people know nowadays. Nowadays it's so difficult to keep a secret.
I know.
And these Reddit groups or whatever start to figure things out, and everybody wants to be the person that spreads it. And I don't like that part of it. But I do think that stepping into the show, the less you know about it, the better.
Stop reading here.
Stop reading here. Yeah.
Because I mean, it's one of those shows that when the first episode over, you're just desperate to watch the second one, which I obviously did. But sometimes I don't. Sometimes I like to give things time. I wondered, how do you both consume your content? Are you kind of binge watchers, or do you prefer the kind of episodic, weekly kind of way to watch shows?
I think it depends for me, but I think a forced period of waiting is beneficial, especially in a show like this one, where it gives people time to talk about it, people time to see it, people time to come up with their theories, and it just becomes more than just the viewing, but like the experience of the whole ride.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's something to be said about limits, right? Like it's good that you can't have maybe something that you want to have right away. And I feel like that actually makes the experience that much more special and more fun. And like Julianne said, you get to chat about it, you get to hypothesize, you get to marinate in the whole experience of the whole thing. And that becomes sort of a shared thing as well with the other people who are coming up with their own, ideas of what's going on and who did what. And then, I just don't think I think you lose something when you just binge it all at once. I don't know.
Agreed.
I agree. There's been such a variety of personalities, of course, in the Oval Office. When playing a president, do you kind of look to any in particular? Or do you try to borrow sort of aspects of various different kind of presidents from across history, or just try and go in completely blind and make something completely original of your own right? Or do you try and make a sort of amalgamation of a few of the different presidents?
Well, I'd be lying to you if I said I made any of it, really. It was all Dan's creation. But yes, I think you can draw comparisons to some. We chatted about Kennedy in a certain capacity. You could see maybe some George W. in there. You could see some Bill Clinton in there. But really, it was all on the page. He was a very fleshed out character on the page, and I don't think we were intentionally trying to draw any sort of comparisons.
And when dealing with kind of presidents and the kind of Secret Service and stuff, it feels so cinematic. So in regards to your kind of research, because obviously it is sort of shrouded in kind of secrecy, do you find that your reference points and your kind of research ends up being more kind of other TV shows and other kind of films? Because these kind of characters in this world feel so kind of ingrained into the kind of fabric of sort of cinematic storytelling in a way.
I try to avoid that because that's got me into trouble before. I remember early in my career, I was playing a doctor and I just started shouting shit off like that. And they're like, hold on. And it was because I'd seen so many medical dramas and you have this idea of how it goes. But sometimes, it is entertainment and it can be exaggerated. And so to be able to ground it in, this is so silly, but imagining what it would be like if it was really happening, that's helpful. If you go based off of other performances or things that you've seen, I feel like already you're one removed from the truth.
And I know asking kind of actors about other actors can be a bit basic because you're always going to say, yeah, they were great. But I can't not speak about Sterling because Sterling is one of those actors where he brings so much emotional nuance just with his eyes and he has so much complexity and depth. I honestly think he's one of the very best in the world. But how much does it mean to a project when you've got someone that kind of gifted and that kind of complex in the kind of, in the central role, I suppose?
Well, it's huge. I mean, he anchors this show in a really beautiful way. And you're right. You described him perfectly, which is like he carries this presence that doesn't need speech. It really doesn't need anything. You feel it, and it says a lot about that person and his remarkable talents that he has. It's just I've never been more prepared in my life. I was like, okay, these are some long scenes.
I don't know that I ever saw him hold sides. Like we usually get these sides when you start the day, which is the scenes of the day, so that you can sort of check in as you're blocking the scene. Or, I mean, I feel like Sterling had the whole of the series sort of down in his mind from the first day.
Well, he doesn't talk much, though.
No, he's shy.
He doesn't speak.
He's tragically shy.
He doesn't have many lines.
No.
So he does have to figure out a way of being interesting.
Yeah.
Which is good. He's a powerful actor. But if you had more lines, he'd be less interesting, I think.
I love the
BAFTAs, right?
I love the nickname Sinatra. Have either of you ever had nicknames, or have any friends really sort of memorable nicknames that you from sort of growing up?
I first moved to New York in 1990, and I lived on Mott between Houston and Prince when it was still Little Italy, and there were still social clubs there with those gentlemen sitting outside. And there was one guy who always he kept an eye out for me and my roommate. We were like 18 years old. And Freckles, where you going? Like in the afternoon, coming home late. He was like always around. So Freckles.
Freckles.
Exactly.
Was it actually Sinatra's calling you?
Oh, full circle moment.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I didn't. I didn't have any. There were no clever ones for me. It was like Mars Bar.
Nice.
Yeah. Right.
I don't know that Freckles is clever.
Well. Yeah,
But it's cute in context.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
yeah.
maybe.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
A kid in my class once just called me Dave. And then about six
different
people called me
name.
Dave. My name's not Dave. It's not even like it's got nothing to do with my name. And I was called Dave for like 2 years.
That's
Couldn't
interesting.
wait till he
Sometimes it's the ones that are the most sort of random that stick.
I've still got one friend who still calls me
I
Dave.
have a friend who's got
That's
red
so
hair. Grew up with red hair, and they called him. He's Australian. They called him Bluey. G'day, Bluey.
Australians always come with a nickname.
Yeah,
In my
they love it.
experience, they'll
Yeah.
shorten
Well,
or sweeten
have
your
to-
name.
yeah.
Have you found
I'd be
that?
Davey, I think.
Okay, yeah.
Davo.
Oh, Dave-O. There we go.
Dave-O.
Anyway, I'm out of time. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank
for
you.
Yeah,
coming
thank
to meet
you.
us today. Cheers. Thank
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey, you guys!
Hey, you guys.
Hey, that's what they all say.
Hey, you guys.